morning. I am making a how-to video based on the energy and chakra video that I made the other day. So this is my personal interpretation. Okay. This is what I have learned via my own experience in using my chakras to heal, using energy flow through chakras to heal. This is all mine. There are countless, I have friends and other people who know more about this than I do. I am not an expert by any means. This is just my personal experience and how I've healed using this, my concept of it, that I think is really helpful. It just gives a basic framework for life that's super, super helpful to understand and to know about. So this is my personal experiences, and that's it. I'm not trying to make a claim on anything here. Okay, so when it comes to chakras, I've had my own experiences and I've read articles about what each chakra relates to, and I'm going to tell you the first thing that comes off the top of my head for each one. So your crown chakra is right here. There's literally right inside your head right here. If it's lit up, you will feel like an intense radiating energy at the top of your head. It's called the crown. I mean, that's the crown of your head right here. And it is basically your spiritual center or your spiritual connector, like connection to God and to spirituality and kind of your highest self is here for me. This is like the part of you that gets to kind of play God within yourself and decide what you allow to be true within you. Like, you can allow certain things. You get to choose what you want to be true. You get to choose the truth. You get to choose the beliefs that run your life. Because we have, I think this is somewhat basic knowledge. We all have belief tapes that form our lives. A lot of people know this, not everyone. But a lot of people know that there are belief tapes that run in your mind that basically, they create your life. That's a fact. And they do that by influencing the way you perceive, literally the way your body perceives every piece of information that it takes in. It filters and only presents to you in your brain what it thinks will matter to you based on what you believe and based on your habits. And from your crown chakra, you can decide what is true for you. Like, this is the part where you're connected to divine. You can choose the beliefs, you can choose the truth, and have that. It's kind of the place from which you reign over yourself, and you are king or queen within yourself. That's my experience. And it's also, again, articles, etc. I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay. The next one is your third eye chakra. This is, and I feel it more like, it's almost like your prefrontal, I mean, it's kind of near your prefrontal cortex. It's supposed to be between your eyes here, but it's definitely it's more inside your head than just here. Again, radiating, burning thing. And this is related to vision, to being able to see beyond the physical, to be able to see what's happening in life, to be able to see beyond what our eyes perceive into, for example, a lot of people, when they look up, a lot of people will call the sky the heavens. Because there is a very ethereal feel when you look up at a blue sky with clouds in it or a night sky with stars in it and you see the Milky Way. There is a very compelling feeling of the eternal. That would be something you only perceive if your third eye chakra is open. That's something that is beyond the physical. It is a spiritual reality that you're seeing something that isn't visible simply to the eye. Like anyone, an infant or any person could see the sky, but they wouldn't necessarily see the heavens. Some people will, but not everyone. That depends partly on this. Same thing in your own life, your own intuition, but it's very connected to spiritual sight. Your throat chakra, in my experience, this for me has been mostly related to my voice. Like my ability to say what I actually believe because I believe it enough, and to allow myself to speak what is true, what I have learned. My own experiences, my own lived experience of God, of reality, of truth. And when I've worked enough to open this chakra, I have a voice, and my singing voice, my speaking voice sound completely different than they ever have before in my life. Physically, they sound different. This voice that I have right now is not how I have sounded in the past. It's different. My singing voice sounds completely different. And probably the biggest thing, though, again, spiritual always being bigger and more real than the physical, is that I am willing and capable and desiring and allowing myself to share what I believe is mine to share with the world. Like the things that I've learned that I believe I'm supposed to share with other human beings, like these videos and the conversations I have with other people, my ability to Another big area for this for me was being able to speak my truth to my husband and not be afraid of his judgment, like, because that's a very close relationship. So those are areas that have all been affected by my throat chakra, which is very much connected to your voice, but again, more your voice, not your physical voice necessarily, but your internal voice of what is actually true and what you actually want and what you believe you're here for. The heart chakra, I think, is the easiest for people to understand. And this is the heart center. This is where we feel love. It's kind of our connectedness to love is really, that's it. That warmth, connected. I'm getting warm fuzzies just saying that. Love. This connectedness to love, and it's love and connectedness. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. I think most human beings understand that pretty intuitively. Love and connection are here. Again, as I said, the solar plexus is here. I said, for me, I find it more kind of in here. And this is, again, it's like the seat of yourself. Like, you feel your self-confidence, who you are, your identity, the strength of who you are is kind of here in your stomach. Like this, where you feel passion, where you feel drive, where you feel conviction. And if you're uncertain of yourself, you'll feel a sense of queasiness or unease in that area as well. If you're not certain of yourself, when it's working properly, you feel confident, you feel your stomach feels calm, you feel a sense of calm and security here, which I think for most non-limbic impaired people, that would be the normal feeling, would just be to feel calm. Then the next one is your sacral chakra. For me, this was, and this one again, it's just below the belly button down here. For me, this was the one that was most powerful because it literally was never alive. Well, the solar plexus was pretty potent for me too, because I also didn't ever have self-confidence until recently, like ever. It's crazy. But so that's been very potent. But for me, the sacral chakra has been even more powerful in the amount of influence it's having in your life. So this one is like, and I'm going to write a book, and it's going to include a lot about the sacral chakra because this is so misunderstood. And because it's not, okay, let's get to it. It's sexual energy and creative energy. And those are two of the most potent like forces in this world because it has to do with intimacy, with pleasure, and with creativity, which creativity is what we're here for. Like, we are made in the image of God, who is creator, and we are meant to create. Like, human beings are not fully happy unless we're creating something of meaning. That's what makes us feel fulfilled, is when we have a purpose and we're making something. Like, that's what we want to do with our lives. It's just an inherent human drive. And all of us, it's so unique, and we have our own gifts and things to create. But this one, I think also too, because sexuality is so misunderstood and feared and misused, and most people aren't the masters of their sexual energy, so it either runs them or they're terrified of it, so they shut it down. And once I learned to let it exist, which it exists, like once I started, literally this part of me had never been turned on before. So I never had a sex drive. I never experienced sexuality the way most people do, because it just, for whatever reason, like mine never woke up. Probably belief-based and whatnot. But once it did, I had to learn how to harness it and make it my own and decide, where I want that energy going and to whom and how and in what way. And when I realized too, though, that creative force, because obviously creativity and sexuality are sex is what makes babies. Like, they're connected. There is a connection to that energy. Sexuality and creativity are connected. And once I found for me my life purpose, like, what is it that I want to do with my life? What do I believe I'm here for? I had all this energy that shifted in literally 1 hour of a coaching session. From it was parading falsely as sexual energy, and I was like, I know this has nothing to do with that. This is all about me needing to know what I'm doing with my life and have a purpose and a direction to put this energy. And then I was like, I know it's going to calm down. I had a 1 hour coaching session, created a 5-year plan for my life, and within an hour, all this energy that had just been kind of like in the background was all of a sudden like, whew, like riding this powerful horse. Like, it was like, and now I have a direction. That energy knows where to go. I know that everything I do in my life, from washing the dishes to doing my practice rounds, spending time with my kids, taking my walks, every little detail of my life is creating this bigger thing that I can see, a life that's really mine, and it's all moving towards the purpose of my life. Everything I do supports the purpose of my life in some way. And I have not had any issues really with that. I mean, for the most part, I have not had issues with that part of myself since then. And my depression disappeared, and it's given me both a direction and a way of being that have been more satisfying and fulfilling than I could have previously imagined possible. Like, I knew it intellectually, but like, this has been the manifestation of it actually happening, was because of the sacral chakra. Root chakra is your groundedness to, it's safety and security, like basic needs: money, food, sleep, this basic sense of knowing you're safe in the world, which is huge. Again, like I said in my last video, so many people just don't feel safe in our world, and that's a tragic thing, that human beings can walk around this world not feeling safe, and not just human beings in war zones who genuinely aren't safe, but human beings in, like myself, who live in suburbia and are technically safe, but so many of us don't feel safe. It's this groundedness. It's way down. It's like literally basically at your tailbone. You can feel it almost like deep in your pelvis, like almost like towards your pelvic floor at the bottom. It's this very grounded, you know, the image that comes to mind is like the tree and the roots, like this deep groundedness into the earth, this energy that is, you just feel secure and at ease in your life. And I've developed this part of me recently, and I cannot even describe, like, everything feels real for the first time ever. Like, literally, like, just calm and real. There are no words to describe the improvement of my quality of life now that I feel safe in the world, and knowing that I did this, knowing that this part of me needed some attention, it needed some God energy in it, and I put it there, and now I feel safe in the world. And so yeah, rootedness, safety, basic physical needs met, you know, basic needs, like basic groundedness is your root chakra. So that's the chakras. That's my understanding of them. And then someone asked, you know, how do you find that good energy? It's all based on images in your mind. There's some great, Marissa Peer has some great videos on YouTube. I highly recommend watching pretty much anything she's put out. She's incredible. But she talks about how everything in life comes down to the images that we make in our mind and the words we tell ourselves. Well, it's true. Everything has energy. So you're seeking out any image, any thought, or any experience that creates a feeling of joy or lightness, or whatever it is you want to feel. There are so many different situations. Like, if in one of the exercises in DNRS, and I'm not trying to teach DNRS, but this is just how I came about it, is to do a visualization of a memory, a positive memory where you felt really loved or grateful or euphoric or calm or connected. And a lot of times you end up in your childhood, you know, maybe having an experience of being cozy on a cold day, you know, making cookies with your mother or by yourself or whatever. But any experience, if you imagine an experience like that of being cozy and all the sensations that it involves, you can literally if you come up with that image in your brain doesn't know the difference between something that's imagined and something that's real. If you make it real in your brain, all the same chemicals that your brain would release in that actual situation get released to your body. That's the way brain rewiring works. And in that space, you can create, and you can make up memories. Like, I have literally made up memories of things I haven't done that my brain has, like, stored as real memories. I have memories of, like, going to France and other things that I've not actually done, stored in my subconscious because I made them up. That's how you kind of find an image. And for me, when I was in my darkest time, I listened to a lot, and I still listen to a lot of music. I love music, and the more joy I experienced from the music, and the more I focused on the feeling of the music, it would bring back flashes of memories that were connected to that emotion somehow. So that's one way I have found memories and done visualizations based on songs, because the song evokes a certain emotion, and then it reminds me of a time in my life when I had an experience that had that same emotion, because everything's connected in the brain. So in your day-to-day life, just for the average person who's not doing DNRS, you kind of, in a sense, listen to your body, listen to the energy of your body, of how do you feel, like if you have a memory. And I think a lot of us have this, you know, one experience I think would be pretty common experience is waking up from a dream, being like, oh, that was a really good dream. Like, I wanted that dream to keep going, and I can't remember what it was about, but you want that feeling back. That's what we're looking for. You're looking for actual images or experiences you can conjure up in your mind, or even images around you of someone being joyful, and really use your will and your focus to focus on them until you feel that emotion. in your whole body, and just let it be in your body as long as you can. And that's ultimately, that's what heals the body, that's what heals the brain, is a lot of those positive emotions. And that's what I'm talking about when I say, you know, follow the good energy, is because if you look, for example, at like a disturbing billboard, something that's, and it depends on what that would be, depending on, you know, there are images in our world that are disturbing. So those would give you obviously a negative energy. So that's a good way to understand what I'm talking about, is to kind of have the juxtaposition of that would be a negative energy. So focus on any image or anything in your life that's beautiful, that makes you feel joy or calm. At one point I discovered that the color blue just makes me feel really calm. I like the color blue for that reason. It's very calming. It just has that oceanic, like, sky kind of feeling. And there's just so many ways to do this. There really are infinite ways to find the energy that we want. And this ties to one quick last thing. This video is getting pretty long, but one quick last thing is that you have an intuition. You have, in your higher self, there is a part of you that knows what you need in this moment. Because what we need as human beings will always be evolving. I mean, at sometimes in our life we need more excitement, we need more joy, we need more novelty. At sometimes in our life we need more calm and more groundedness and more steadiness and repetition of, you know, kind of the same calm, grounding experiences over and over again. And it really just, the only way to know what you need right now is to listen to yourself. So go toward what feels good in that moment, what feels good to your soul in that moment, what feels like it's what you actually need. Whether that's a song, whether it's an image, whether it's a memory. We also in DNRS come up with future visualizations of what we want our lives to be like, and we focus on those because we want them to come into reality. They do. So you focus on who, like, if you were the best version of yourself, what life would you be living? What would you be doing? Who would you be with? And how would it feel, most of all? What emotion would you be feeling? And then that will become your reality in your life. But that's what I'm talking about. Those are examples of what I mean when I say follow the energy. I also have a blog post about following energy, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. When you focus on the energy of something, you bring it into yourself, and then you kind of keep it there and keep it within your body, and it goes through your chakras. It kind of clears out anything that maybe might have been there before, and you become that energy. You become vibrant and light and radiant or calm or whatever it is, whatever positive attributes you're desiring. You can focus on them in other people or in the world, in the natural world around you, and take them into yourself and become them. We human beings are pretty talented. We're pretty cool. Being human is a really cool thing. It's a really cool experience. So I hope this was helpful. Feedback, again, always welcome, and much love to everyone. Mwah.